Hi, my name is David Shahady. I am the director of the Air Force SBIR STTR program, so it is a great pleasure to talk to you all today. We had a lot of exciting stuff planned for Austin, but as you can see, the show goes on. I think the best thing that I want to share with you is a little of the history of the program, a little bit of what we're doing right now, and then talk about what we see as far as the future. And there are just so many exciting things going on in this swim lane of innovation right now for the Air Force. I think probably the best thing to talk and start off is the difference between inventors and innovators. And the best example I use very, very often is that the light bulb was actually invented by Joseph Swan in England far before Thomas Edison did. But what Thomas Edison was able to do is was able to take that for the Edison Lighting Company, was able to put that light bulb in every home in America. And that's what the difference between innovators and inventors truly are. That inventors make stuff, but innovators make history. And that's what we're really looking for on the Air Force side, is folks that are going to come help us on the Air Force side to make history. And the program that we've been working under obviously has been around for a very, very long time. It has a long tradition. It's a congressional program, meaning our congressional leadership throughout the country saw some tremendous value and opportunity in small business. And they created the SBIR program in order to try to help do several things. One was to grow the economy and build the national economy across all of the United States. They also looked to, is there a way to take small business technology and leverage that to help the warfighter? They wanted to see how they could do things quickly. Could we accelerate the speed of technology? Could we accelerate the speed that business could be done? And then could we actually expand the industrial base of companies that are available within our nation in order to help build military and government capabilities? And I think that is a tremendous framework to build off of. And so if you think back in the past, the program, so I took over as the first Air Force level program manager or director in 2016. And there was sort of an era before where we were doing really aggressive work and trying to work very, very hard to get things accomplished. Everything took Herculean effort. It was very much a disconnected struggle. Companies were getting funding for things, and there was the, well, how am I going to get the next job? How am I going to get the next technology out? Who am I working with? Who are my customers? And everyone sort of was sitting on an island. You had industry on an island, academia, we had the government on an island, we had this mystical land of Oz out in the background that was, here's your market. We had commercial industry that was saying, how can we best leverage that? And it was, it was a struggle. We succeeded, as we always do, but it was a struggle. And so the goal going forward, that our senior leadership, like our secretary and like Dr. Roper and the other folks, was, can we create a connected journey? Can we create a process that takes all of these Herculean components, all these different people trying to support innovation and small business, can we unite them into a connected journey? And that's the journey that we've been on for the last several years. It's been a very exciting journey. We've had our ups and downs, and like any experiment, we've learned so many different things. There are things that we've done that have turned out to be wonderful. There are things that we had found out in unintended consequences. But just like any innovation journey, we're on a constant state of improvement. And so the idea of making some of these changes and people saying, well, is there a benefit? And we found that there is. In the last 2 years, we've created almost $5 billion of additional outside, non-SBIR investment for companies that are in this portfolio. And that is a monumental number in terms of the return that we've been able to create through many of these pilot experiments that we've been doing. The other side of this is we started to consolidate all the kinds of people that were working with small business companies, and we created a center of excellence, or what I'd like to call a center for excellence, meaning that we're constantly in the ability of making different changes and improvements. But we've been able to consolidate all those resources to do a bunch of different things. We're able to get contracts awarded to companies faster. It used to take 6 to 8 months to get someone on contract, and we're now getting them on contract and on contract with us in less than 2 months, sometimes even faster. We are using our pitch day concepts to try to give small businesses the opportunity to speak to their customers, speak to the warfighters and the users, speak to industry, speak to the venture partners, speak to academia, other people who are buyers of that technology. And by doing that, we've created the ability to say, okay, this SBIR money is a seed for you to find other funding in the future. Many people have talked about the expression, here you can either give someone a fish for a day or you can teach them to fish and they can eat for a lifetime. And that's really what we're trying to do with the Air Force SBIR Fund, is we're trying to use this money as a seed funding. This is the Air Force's venture fund, that our ability to make investments in companies out there and to share and to build partnerships with new companies. And this has paid huge dividends for us. The other side of the house is we've been able to get more and more warfighter organizations acknowledging the value that small businesses can bring to the table. And in doing that, they have seen the value that the small innovators out there can actually provide in terms of reaction and responsiveness and revolutionary ideas for the warfighter. Those have all been wonderful results of our experiment. And a few things I just want to share with you as we go forward. And one of those is the idea of the Air Force's investment isn't a one type of investment. We're looking for opportunities across the entire spectrum of work that we accomplish for both the Air and the Space Force. But more importantly, we're looking for things that are what we call the 3 R's. Revolutionary things, those things that are disruptive technologies, that will be breakthroughs, that are tip of the spear, tip of the edge of the technology curve, the ability to do things in a dramatic improvement, disruptive way. And we want to make investments in those. We want to make investments in relevant technology. Those are things that are able to impact programs and important things that we have, weapon systems, whether it's our space systems, whether it's our air systems. We want to make technology investments in those. And then lastly, we want to do things that are quick reaction. There are always urgent problems that come up in the warfighting realm, and we want to be able to have small business technologies that can respond to those. So just like any stock portfolio or investment portfolio, the Air Force has a blend of near-term, long-term, and mid-term rewards. We have high risk, moderate risk, and less risk. There is not one avenue that we're pursuing. And so, yes, we want to look for things that have commercial opportunities. Yes, we want to look for things that have warfighting opportunities. Yes, we want to look for things that have dual-use technology. And we believe that companies need to see all of those different angles and avenues. Last year, we put out over 200 different topics, 200 different ideas that people had to farm through. And what we're trying to do is to consolidate those topics in such a way that, yes, we'll still have all of those ideas, all of those problems that are documented, but having an open avenue that companies can come in and approach us. And the reason for doing that is that instead of making small businesses shop around to every single possible opportunity, we want to give small businesses that have an idea the best opportunity to showcase that idea to the most problems that we are seeing. And so that is a concept that we employed with these open topics. They're actually open topics with subtopics. So it's the idea of creating a welcoming and open door. And our AFWERX partner has been a tremendous front door, and to the extent that they're the front door of our Air Force. They're the innovation front door. And we want companies to see that and say, if I've got something that I think the Air Force can use, that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go to this front door. I don't have to mystify through this roadmap of different organizations. I don't have to understand all the Air Force and government terminology. I can go to a front door, and those entities will be available to me just going to that front door. I think the other thing that I wanted to share with you is we're trying to get away from the idea, small business. I know we won't ever change the term small business, but personally, I and many of the other Air Force leaders think that doesn't do you all as small businesses service. That you're not small. You're actually very, very big in what your impact is to our nation. And so I like to use the term innovative partners. I like to use the term about innovation businesses, and that's kind of where we have gone with the idea of trying to build a welcoming umbrella, which we've built as Air Force Ventures. The idea that the Air Force is open for business, that we are looking to partner with you all, and we're building on that partnership. And these are the things that we have going on right now today. We have open topics that are designed to bring in as many of you as possible. We have our established relationships with our programs of record, our weapon systems in the air and space. We have long-term partnerships with other small business companies that we've been working with. We want to continue those partnerships. We want to reach out to new businesses that have never worked with us before. We want to find new, diverse entities that we've never touched base with before, whether you are a small disadvantaged business, whether you're a new start, whether you're someone who's been doing work in the commercial world and wants to move into the government market, you're all part of this equation. There is not any one type of company that the Air Force is looking for right now. We're looking for people in and companies in every one of these different genres. The other piece that I think is important is the idea of exposing you to our warfighters and our customers. And some of this is about taking your ideas and giving you the opportunity to interface with our warfighter customers, to touch base with them, to understand their problems. We want to help to foster that. We also want to make this an efficient process. We know that the lifeblood of any company is that it's revenue stream. And while some organizations can struggle and can wait out 6 months waiting for income to come in or promise to be kept, we want to make sure that that's not the case for you. That when you have been awarded a contract and you've been awarded funding, that there is a quick reaction to get you on contract, to get you off and working with us. We know that there is a lot of struggles that small business have, and we don't want our income or our revenue stream to you to be one of them. The other things that are very, very important is we've created lots of different avenues, whether it's Sparks or Colliders, whether it's Tech Warrior events, whether it's operational demonstrations, lots of different opportunities for you as companies to reach out and to interface with us. We want to continue to build on those things. We want to create an educational process, a way of saying, here's the kinds of things that you need to be thinking about when you're working with the government, when you're working with commercial industry, when you're working with other folks. Here are all the different educational aspects. And part of that is our technical and business assistance. We want to help you to build solid business plans for how you're going to do work in the future.